Hi, this is Sunday. Give me just a couple of minutes while I invite some more people to our live. So give me just a second while I do that. Okay, so today's topic is about creating marketing goals and why it's important to have marketing goals and what they are and what you need to do to help create them. So give me just a couple more minutes and I'm going to get started. I'm going to make sure that I've invited this new way of sharing. Uh, Facebook Lives is new to me, so give me one more second. Okay, so we are going to get started and I'm going to go over a couple of things that you should know about your marketing goals. Okay, so as you guys know, I specialize in, my name is Sundey Gardner, so nice to meet you, and I specialize in marketing and business automation and business process and strategy for your specific business. And so, in terms of marketing, the thing that I specialize in is how to create marketing campaigns using Facebook ads. And so, what I want to do is talk about before you get started what you need to do from a marketing goal perspective before you even decide to run your first ad. Most people, they just jump in and they start running a Facebook ad, or they decide on a promotion and offer and they just start telling people and they haven't defined what their goals are. And so I really want to stress and talk about how do you define your goals, what does it mean to have a marketing goal, what types of goals there are, and what you should be looking for when defining that goal today. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get started. So taking a couple of notes here, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm referring to my notes. So the first thing is that we're going to talk about is what is a marketing goal. And from the perspective of marketing, there are three reasons why you should market a promotion or an offer or your business in general. And the first reason that you have is to create brand awareness. And brand awareness is really about who you are, what your business stands for, what is the vision, and I always often speak about what vision is, but really what is it that your vision is in business for. And so brand awareness marketing is really about getting the name of your business out in front of your target market. It's not really about promoting a specific offer or special. It's really about just providing value and having people associate your name or your business to a particular logo, to a particular vision, or a piece of information. Let's use an example that you all may be very familiar with. So, Jared from Subway, right? His story was that he lost a lot of weight by eating a Subway sandwich. And so you quickly recognize Jared, this is pre, him going to jail, but you really understood who Jared was and you related Subway to his name, right? So that is about brand awareness. Now, in the course of them discussing him losing weight and come in and buy Subway sandwiches, it was really about creating a vision or a person that represented the business and associate that person, logo, act or thing that represents the business. So that's what brand awareness is. The other item or reason to do, or marketing goal, is for you to have engagement, right? The goal of your marketing campaign is to increase engagement with your existing customers or to attract new customers for the purposes of them getting to know who you are, getting to like who you are, and becoming familiar with who you are. It's very closely tied to brand awareness, but it's a little bit more specific in terms of you want somebody in this particular marketing campaign to engage with you. So for example, a good example of a campaign that's goal is about engagement is a campaign or a marketing promotion that is about submitting pictures or liking a picture that you've created, or getting likes, or getting pictures are a great example of that. And I really like that because, like, I've seen ads that say, post your favorite picture of XYZ, right? And the purpose of that campaign is to get engagement. It's only for you to post to get more people to post like pictures of whatever particular objective that they're trying to do. And the only purpose of that campaign is really for a prospective customer to be like, oh, this is kind of cool. I see, XYZ business asking me to do this, and I'm going to post my favorite picture of whatever it is that they say, right? Surveys are another example of engagement, right? It's soliciting someone to provide information about whatever the questions are for the purposes of the business to analyze the results, right? But that's engagement. It requires an action by the prospective target person to do something that is going to engage them. So surveys, questionnaires, polls, anything that's asking people to submit pictures, information, those are all for the purposes of engagement. And then the last and final reason why you should be doing one of the marketing goals that you have is for increasing sales, right? Or to get new customers. And so that's pretty self-evident, right? You do a marketing campaign to ensure that you are getting additional average revenue, average sales, or you're trying to attract new clients to your business. Either one of those really is about increasing your sales and getting more people attracted to your business. Okay, so those are the three objectives or the three goals that any particular marketing campaign would have. So it's really important for you to really understand which one are you after, right? Because based on those objectives will determine the type of ad that you run. It will determine the type of content, the imagery, all of the components of your Facebook ad or any ad for that matter that you'll want to include in there. So understanding why and what you're doing the ad for, your campaign for, is critical. That's the first step. And so the question then you would ask is, why do you even need to have a goal, right? And so I always like to say that this is kind of a cliche saying, but it's a good one because it's fit, right? We don't fail to plan. We don't plan to fail. We fail to plan. And if you just start doing whatever activity related to marketing and you don't have a goal, how do you know that you were successful, right? If you just start spending money and you say, okay, let's use an example. I was talking to a client yesterday, and they have decided that they want to use direct mail as their marketing channel. They want to send out flyers. And my first comment to them is you do understand that when you send out flyers, that you need to send out multiple iterations of that flyer, right? It's not a one-hit wonder. You don't get to do that. And he was a little surprised by that. And so the reason why you have to do that is because it doesn't stick the first time, but you immediately assume that all I need to do is touch a person one time, send out information or marketing to a person one time, and that's all I need to do. And then you gauge your success based on that, right? But if you have no threshold for your success, then you don't really know if you were a success or if you were a failure, right? If you haven't set a goal and you don't have a direction or a focus for which you're going to, you don't know if you're going in the right direction, if your campaign was successful, or it's a monumental flop, right? So establishing what that measurement is at the beginning of the campaign before you spend even $1 is critical for you to ascertain if this is something that you'll want to do again in the future, or if this is something that wasn't good for your business and you didn't get a good return on the investment. So in terms of understanding what the components of that goal is, you want to also ensure that you understand how much you want to spend. So what's your budget? How much you want to receive in terms of engagement, awareness, or money, or clients. You want to understand that and compare those numbers throughout the duration of your campaign. So without a goal, you have no direction. So that's the reason why it's critical for you to be able to set a goal. All right, and then what are some of the things that you need to consider before you create a goal? I'm going to point you to the number one, which is, why are you doing your particular campaign? What is it? What is the purpose of it, right? Is it to increase the awareness of your business? Is it to get engagement? Is it to increase sales, right? What's your target audience like? Who are they? Do they know you? Are they familiar with your brand? Are they new to you, right? Because if they are new to you, the type of offer that you give them and the goal that you may have may be different. So it's critical that you understand why you're doing it, who the marketing is for, and what your goals are, right? So why you're doing it, who is it for, what is the benefit that they're going to receive, and how are you going to measure it? All right. And so I am a very goal-driven person, so I always operate with, there are people who will say, okay, well, I'll just throw a number out in the air, I want to have 50 new clients with, this particular client, this campaign, right? And let's use this as an example, right? They say, I want 50 new clients with this campaign, and they're going to target, let's say, mothers who are, who have children who are between the ages of, they're in third grade, between third and fifth grade, and it's a salon, and they want to target moms who have girls who want to do, and you want to run a promotion. So the goal is to get 50 new clients into the business, right? And so the first thing that they do is, I'm going to run, let's say I'm going to run a direct campaign, or I'm going to run a Facebook ad, whatever channel you decide, right? You could, do social media advertising, you could do traditional advertising, whatever channel you decide to do. So you decide 50, but let's just say you've never done any advertising to this particular market before, right? And you really don't have a lot of proof that this market is going to be receptive to your ads, right? Or is going to be receptive to you as a service provider. So this is kind of new territory for you, and you've never done it before, and you don't know really if 50 is feasible, right? and you only want to spend $100, right? So let's just put, those are your kind of parameters, right? And what I want you to apply is this concept of SMART goals, right? And the SMART stands for a couple of things, right? And I've talked about this in previous videos, but I'm going to remind you what the SMART stands for. SMART stands, the S stands for specific. It's simple, sensible, and significant, right? So simple, right? You want 50 clients, right? That's simple, it's specific. The M is measurable. You can actually quantify it in a number or in an action or a tangible result. The A is achievable. It's something that you can actually achieve. Now, I have, worked with coaches who are saying, I want to actually have a goal that's a little bit of a stretch and not, something that I know for sure I'm going to be able to hit. So we'll talk about a little bit about what achievable is versus, something that's achievable or a stretch versus something that's just outlandish and it's not going to happen. Versus the R, which is relatable or relevant. It's realistic and it's realistic to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then the T is that there's a time frame to it. So let's take this example that we just said. You're trying to target moms who have between 3rd and 5th graders, right? Because you don't want them too young, and you're a salon, and you've never marketed to this group of people. You don't really have a lot of social proof that you can actually do kids' hair. You only want to spend $100, and you want to get 50 new clients, right? And so, I would argue, based on all of those criteria. And what I know about marketing is that that's neither attainable or realistic, and it's not realistic for the following reasons, right? 50 new clients with $100 ad spend in a market that you've not proven is receptive to your business it's not realistic, because with any advertising spend that you have to test out the market, and you have to be willing to invest dollars in testing out the market and making sure that that particular market that you've identified is receptive to what you have to offer. And so that requires time and money. And a lot of know-how in terms of understanding what your market's problems and what their issues are, right? So I would say you could have this goal of attaining $50, but with an ad spend of $100, it's unlikely that that's going to occur. Now, if you have infinite amount of time and you've selected a different channel, not Facebook ads, but maybe word of mouth, that may be attainable, right? So it's really important when you identify your specific goal that you've gone through all of these identifiers, right? Is it specific? Is it specific enough, right? $50, a specific market, right? In a time frame that is specific, right? Is it measurable? You can determine if you received 50 clients or not, right? Is it attainable, right? Based on the channel that you've selected, it may or may not be attainable. 50 people over, let's say, a 6-month period by word of mouth, investing $100 may be attainable, right? Because the timeline is longer. It doesn't require a lot of testing. There are things that you can do to ensure that you are creating incentives for people to also do word of mouth, right? So the timetable is 6 months as opposed to 1 month, right? So that goal that you've set instantaneously becomes specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive based on modifying it from not through Facebook ads, right? By saying, I would like to receive 50 new clients in a 6-month period through word of mouth using a $100 budget, right? That's very specific. It has a timetable. It's measurable. It's realistic, and it has a time. It has and it's attainable, right? I think I've gone over the SMART identifiers, but hopefully you can see that with all 4 of those SMART. With all 5 of those characteristics, you can clearly identify your goal and make sure that it's applicable. Now, you may say, well, I don't have the knowledge to determine if the marketing channel that I'm going to pick is attainable, if it's realistic or whatever. That's where then you've got to attain the knowledge that you need in order to take those SMART characteristics and apply them to the goal that you have. It's really important when you start doing any sort of marketing that you understand what channel, what the results of those channels are. And when I say channels, I'm talking marketing channels. So a couple of different marketing channels that you're probably most familiar with is radio ads, direct mail is a channel, email is a channel, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, any social media advertising is a channel, newspapers, radio ads, television ads, actually doing advertising or marketing in, if you have a physical brick and mortar business, your website is also a channel. All of those are different marketing channels, right? And so you really need to understand what the results of your specific channel is, right? To determine if your goal that you're setting is attainable, specific enough, realistic enough, based on the timeline that you have. I will tell you that unless you have an infinite budget for marketing, that you do want to ascertain or put a timeline on how long you're going to run a campaign. And we'll go over all of that stuff in upcoming trainings. But really today, what I wanted to do was talk about what is it that you need to do from a marketing goal perspective before you start? What is it that you're trying to achieve? How do you define what it is that you're achieving such that you can measure it and determine the success of whatever marketing channel you've decided to go on? All right, so hopefully that explains any what a goal is, the different types of marketing goals there are, what you need to consider when developing that marketing goal. If you have any questions about defining a marketing goal or any of that, leave them in, if you look at this live later, leave them in the chat and I'll reply to them later. But I just wanted to pop in and give you that little bit of information about setting marketing goals and the importance of doing that prior to you starting with any marketing campaign. It was great talking to you guys. You guys have a great night. Bye-bye.